child's pose. Take your knees super wide, toes come to touch. And while we're on that track about goals and things you want to crush in the new year, start to embody that right here. I am a big believer in embodied manifestation. So basically, it's almost like fake it till you make it, but it's more like be it until you are it. So right here, go ahead and start to integrate into your space. And maybe bring to mind one or two of those things that you're looking to change, enhance, or add into your life within the next few months here. And then notice or create within yourself what it might feel like once that is obtained, once that thing has become part of your life. Right? So you're already the yogi that wakes up at 5 a.m. to show up here at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So if there are any other healthy habits or things that you're looking to move into, what does it feel like to be the yogi that has those things, that does those things? And we're just going to move through the next 60 minutes embodying what that feels like. So fill up here on your inhale, empty out completely on your next exhale, and take your first downward facing dog. So our body is just creating that big upside down V shape. Go ahead, walk out your dog, bending one knee and then the other. Take your hips side to side. Whatever movement you need to take to get ready to really move. So all the creaks and cracks, all the cobwebs, clear them out right here with your breath and with your movement. So let's marry those two up. Inhale, lift your heels to the ceiling. Exhale, bring them back down toward the mat. Two more like that. Fill up and lift. Exhale and lower. Fill up completely. Lift your heels. Come to your tippy toes. Lower them down. Move feet to your hands. Ragdoll at the top of your mat. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. So just like a forward fold, but we've got that big C-shaped curve in the back. Nice, just like that. And you can continue here taking sway side to side. Shake the head yes and no. End on a yes. And on your next inhale, extended mountain reach all the way up for the ceiling. Look for the ceiling. Hands at heart center. So what are you getting out of the next 60 minutes? And what are you leaving on the floor for me to mop up when we leave? We'll seal those intentions with one Om together, full breath in. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, step or hop back to your high plank. Lower down to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Two more like that. Fill up. Last one. Inhale. Empty completely. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Take your gaze between your fingertips. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths in and empty. 2 more. Fill up. Empty out. Last one. Exhale, prepare. Feet to hands, halfway lift. Fold. extended mountain. Little back bend here. Nice. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and out. 2 more here. Come up to your tippy toes. Bend your knees and hover. Step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sink down. Reach high. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Warrior 1 right side. Press your big toe mounds down as you rise. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side warrior 1. Inhale, reach. Chaturanga on your exhale. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and empty. Nice. Keep that up. 2 more. Last one. Empty completely. Feet to hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior 1. Inhale to rise. Chaturanga as you exhale. Up dog, fill up. Down dog, empty out. Step your left foot forward on the pause. Inhale, reach. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. You got 1 more sun bee. Breath in and out. Last one, fill up. Empty completely. Feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose, sit lower. Nice. Fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior 1. Inhale all the way to the top. Chaturanga. Exhale all the way to the bottom. Up dog. Down dog. Left side. Inhale, rise. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Lion's breath out. Lift your right leg up behind you. Press it back past the back of your mat. So right here, we want to find a little bit more length in the leg rather than lift. So flex your foot, toes pointed down towards your mat. Now press back. How long can you make your leg? Nice. Bend your knee, open your hip, stay here or flip your dog over. If we're staying here in the 3-legged dog, press down both hands equally. Nice. Now press a little bit more through your right hand and lift your knee all the way toward the ceiling. Get a really big stretch across the right side of your body. Nice. 1 more breath here. Both hands down, side plank, right hand down, left arm to the ceiling. And then right here, there's about 1,000,000 different degrees of this pose. So you take the one that works for you, whether that's knee down or the top leg lifted. 1 more breath to lift your hips to the ceiling. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Exhale it out. Lift your left leg up behind you. Flex your foot. Find all the length from your hip all the way to your knee, all the way to your heel. Nice. Bend your knee, open your hip, stay here or flip your dog over. Yes, and those of us flipping our dog here, feet on 12 o'clock. So bring the toes a little bit closer together until you feel that your knees are tracking straight out of your hips toward the back of your mat. One more big breath. Both hands down, side plank, left arm down. Reach your fingertips all the way to the ceiling. Nice. Now press through both heels, whether they're on the floor or one is lifted. One more breath. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. So right away, come down really low in your lunge. Reach up high. And then bring your hips down toward the floor until you can start to feel this stretch here on the front side of your left hip flexor. Only you know how far it takes to come down till you start to feel it. Big toe mounds press into the floor. Hands to heart center, twist to your right. You got it. Now keep pressing down through both sides of your back foot, the big toe mound, the little baby toe side. And press the left thigh up to the ceiling. Nice. You feel how that evened out your hips there. One more breath in here. Stay for the twist. Inhale back to crescent lunge. Warrior two. Come down low in your front knee. Close to, if not at 90 degrees. And then look down at your knee here. Is it right over top of your ankle? Yeah, and everyone here has longer legs than they think. So bring your foot even a little bit more forward. Keep your back foot where it is. Scooch the front foot forward. Yeah, you can come all the way, actually. Bring your foot up to like here. You got it. Yep. So we want knee right over, right over top. One less thing for your muscles to do. Flip your front palm and reverse your warrior. Reach all the way toward the back of your mat. Extended side angle. Fingertips down toward the arch of your front foot. Keep that 90-degree bend in the front knee here. Hips stay low. Nice, and then one more breath. Reach both arms forward. Chaturanga, both hands to the mat. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Left side crescent lunge. Step your left foot all the way forward. Yeah, I love that. If it doesn't get there, just pick it up and put it where you want it to be. There's no rule in yoga that says your transitions have to happen in one move. Sink down, reach high. Lift the front of your pelvis up towards your sternum here. So for some of us, that's going to look like a pelvic tilt. For others, it's just really pulling in those muscles in and up. Can you feel something happening there? Last breath in, get tall. Hands to heart center, twist to your left. Use your breath here. Inhales to lengthen your spine. Exhales to twist. You have two more breaths in. Twist it out. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Back to crescent lunge. Warrior two, sink down low. Knee stacked right over top of your ankle. And then adding another piece to this, we want the knee tracking straight over your middle toe. So for most of us, we need to take that knee a little bit further to the left. Toes face the front side of your mat. Nice. And then sink down into it. Receive the pose. What's there for you right now? Flip your front palm. Reverse your warrior. Reach all the way back. Extended side angle. Fingertips towards your front arch. Stay low here in the hips. 90 degrees in that front knee. Nice. One more breath. Can you reach both arms forward here? Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Exhale it out. Move your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sit down low, reach up high. Can you take your drishti here up between your fingertips? Nice, Libby. One more big breath here. Get taller. Hands to heart center, twist to your right. Look down and see that your knees here are still in one line. For most of us, what tends to happen right here is the left knee kind of wants to come out in front of the right. Can you pull that hip back? Nice. Breath in to lengthen. Breath out to twist. Inhale back to chair. Fold. Fingers to toes forward fold. Take your peace fingers and wrap them around your big toes. Find all the length you can here in your forward fold. So let gravity do the work in pulling both sides of your body down toward the floor. Let your head drop here. Nice. Release the toes. Inhale, chair pose. Sink down, lift high. Hands to heart center, twist to your left. Check out the knees here that we're still in one straight line. Adjust the hips if necessary. Now press down through your heels. 2 more breaths. Lengthen out and twist it out. Last time, lengthen. Stay for your twist. Inhale back to chair. Fold, palms to toes, forward fold, gorilla pose. So we're going to place the backs of our hands on the mat, step onto the palms. And then you choose here what feels restful. I know sometimes after those long chair holds, having the knees really bent here doesn't necessarily feel great. So we want a little bend in the knees, but you can still press your sit bones way up, stretch out those hamstrings. Release your toes, crow pose, crow goddess squat. If you want to tip your crow into an inversion, you go for it. So crow is hands on the floor, wrists parallel to the front of your mat. We're making little shelves with the backs of our elbows. Knees go right on or outside of those little shelves. Now right here, start to pull into your center line. Knees pull in, elbows press out into your knees. And then a few more breaths just to play with wherever you're at here. Crow starts with one set of toes off the ground. Eventually, both sets of toes might come off the ground. 2 more breaths. Last one, chaturanga, step or hop back. Nicely done. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in together. Breath out together. Move your feet to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Reach up and look up. Eagle pose on your right. So right arm comes under. Right leg over. Have a little seat. And then you have choices. If the arm bind doesn't feel so great, give yourself a hug. If the balance isn't quite there yet this morning, toes can stay on the floor. Sink down into your eagle. Nice. 2 more breaths right here. Place your gaze on one specific point. And switch sides. Left arm under, left leg over. Sometimes I think that's the hardest part of this pose is just figuring out, okay, which one's my left and right, especially at 7 a.m. So give yourself grace. Drishti on one spot. Keep your breath flowing in and out. Switch sides, eagle on the right arm under, right leg over. And the more you keep your breath going here, the easier it is to stay centered. I know it seems weird and counterintuitive, but keep coming back to that full inhale and full exhale. Unwind, send your legs straight back, airplane pose. Chest stays lifted here. So if you can, keep your drishti, your focus point, way out in front of your mat. Little bend in the standing knee. Nice. Now press your big toe mound into the floor. Open up half moon. So we're just peeling the top hip open. Fingertips toward a block is really helpful here to bring the floor just a little bit closer. Nice. I'm just bringing extras in case you want them moving forward. One last big breath here. Both feet down. Shake it out. Do what you need to do. And we get to do it all on the other side. Eagle pose on the left. So left arm under, left leg over. Take your seat. Sit down far enough in this pose where you can feel that you have the ability to squeeze your thighs together. It's another one of those things that's going to be different for all of us. I know I have to sit pretty low to be able to do that. One more breath. Unwind, airplane. Take your left leg straight back. Flex your foot here. All 5 toes face down toward the mat. Nice. So we want nice, even horizontal hips. Now open up to half moon. Reach your fingertips up toward the ceiling. Press through your lifted foot. The more you press through that foot, the lighter the whole leg gets. One more breath. Both feet to the mat. Very nice. Shake it out. Inhale, extended mountain at the top of your mat. Take dancer pose, right side. We're going to grab for the inside of our right ankle. Knees together. Send the shin straight back. Place your drishti on one point here, way out in front of your mat. Our body tends to go in the direction that our eyes are looking. So the more we look out and up, the more lifted we can stay here. One more breath. Switch sides. And as you set up here, we want some room for this shoulder to be able to open. So notice that the soft part of your elbow is facing out toward the side of your mat with your thumb facing up. Nice. Pull the pit of your belly in. Lift your chest one more inch. Last breath. Both feet to the mat. Inhale, extended mountain. Tree pose, right side. Place your foot anywhere but the inside of the knee. So below the knee, above the knee, anywhere but on it. Because we want to press in here, and we just don't want to put any pressure on the inside of the knee joint. Settle your drishti one spot. Bring back your breath here. Full inhale. Exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. 2 more like that. Fill up. And empty. Exhale, both feet to the floor. Left side. Press your foot into your leg and your leg into your foot. Express your arms however you wish. And then notice here, for a lot of us, when the arms go up, the front ribs tend to flare out a little bit. Can you pull them back into center? Nice adjustments. 2 more breaths. Both feet to the floor. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, fold all the way down. Halfway lift. Chaturanga, step or hop back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in and out. Step your right foot forward for triangle pose. Take up as much room on your mat here as possible. So your back foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Front toes facing the front of your mat. On the inhale, lift both sides of your body up to your ears and then hinge forward from there. So we want all this length here that you've done so much work to create on the right side of the body. We want to keep that. Just like that. Press your big toe mound down of your front foot. Side facing wide leg forward fold. 10 toes to the left side of your mat. Hands on your hips and take a fold. Yogi's choice here. If you want to get up to an inversion this morning, if you need some movement side to side to wake you up this morning, go for it. Now, wherever you're taking this, even in stillness, a little bend in the knees. What we want to create here is grounding as an as-lived experience. So press your feet into the ground. If you're taking movement side to side and you remember what side you started on, get complete. And on your next inhale, we'll rise all the way to stand. Take triangle to your left. So we're just going to switch the feet. So left foot is now facing the back of your mat. Right foot is parallel to what was the front of your mat. And even here, though we're extending that front knee all the way, we want to keep a little micro bend so you have access to pressing down into the floor. Nice. Now bring these front toes to 12 o'clock. So facing this side of your mat. Your heel can stay where it is. Swing your toes out. Yeah, so you have that whole external rotation happening in that front knee. One more breath. Side facing wide leg forward fold. Your choice here. If there's more movement, some stillness, another inversion. Keeping the little bend in the knee. So you've got access to the floor. Nice. And then you've got other options here. Libby on the screen is taking a bind behind her back. Let your head drop. On an inhale, rise all the way to stand. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, extended mountain. Reach up, look up. And fold. Halfway lift. Chaturanga. Step or hop back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Roll yourself out to a high plank. And then lower all the way down to your mat. Nice. As soon as you get there, press your hips down, locust pose. So reach your fingertips back towards your heels. Your chest might lift a few inches. Your toes might lift off the floor a few inches. Send the crown of your head past the front of your mat. So if I'm up here in the front of the room, all I should see is the tops of everyone's head. Lovely. One more breath. Lower all the way down. Place your right cheek on the mat. Take your feet side to side. Locust pose number 2. Press down and rise. If you're looking for a challenge, take your arms out way in front. Yeah, we've got some super people. Fly across the room. Lift your belly button up towards your spine. One more breath. Lower down. Left cheek to the mat. Take your feet side to side. Floor bow. We're going to do 2. So you choose if you'd like to do one leg and then the other, or if you want to do both legs both times. Reach for your ankles, outsides or insides. Send your shins to the back of your mat. Nice. And then feel right here in your shoulders for any work that might be happening. We want this whole pose to be generated from your legs. So let your shoulders go and let your legs pull them back. One more breath. Lower all the way down. Nice. Reset how you need to. And then floor bow number 2. Grab your ankles. Inhale, rise. Opposite ankle or both again. Squeeze your knees together here so they're at hips width distance or closer. And you should feel that open up the low back so the lumbar spine has a little more space to breathe. Nice. One more breath. Lower all the way to your mat. Place your hands at your lowest ribs. Inhale, upward facing dog. One big breath in. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take that breath in. Lion's breath out. Bring your knees to the mat for camel pose. So just one camel this morning. Stack yourself up. Shoulders over hips, hips over knees. Hands in your imaginary back pockets. And we'll send the chest all the way toward the ceiling on an inhale. There may be a little bit of a back bend right between your shoulder blades here, but a huge back bend is secondary to the length that we want to create in this pose. So lift up out of your hips as much as you can. Can you create more space between the top of your hips and the bottom of your rib cage? On an inhale, rise up and out. Sit back on your heels for high hero. Just a breath here. And then we'll bring the legs all the way around for bridge pose. Set yourself up flat on your back, knees to the ceiling. And you want to stack your heels here right underneath of your knees. Press down in your heels, lift your hips to the ceiling. Now, if you're used to taking hip bridges in strength classes and other modalities of movement, there may be some squeezy glutes that automatically happen here. See if you can let those go. And then all of the effort is in your legs, pressing down to lift up. On your next exhale, lower down. You can take your knees side to side if that's what they'd like to do. And then press down, rise up, bridge pose number 2. You've got some options here with your arms. You could take them out to cactus arms. Hands could be bound underneath of you to the mat. Press your shoulders and your triceps down into the floor. Lower all the way down. You have got 3 more back bends here, and you get to decide what to do with them. So bridge or wheel, press down, rise on up. If you're going for wheel, the closer you can set your fingers and your hands to your shoulders, the easier and the more space you'll find. One more breath here at the top. Lower all the way down. Big breath in. Exhale it out. Bridge or wheel number 2. Press down and rise. Feet here on 12 o'clock, even at the top. Nice adjustments. Last breath. Lower all the way down. Breath in. Exhale it out. Inhale, rise. Bridge or wheel number 3. This is your last one. Make it your biggest, bigger breath, a more focused gaze. What makes you feel big and important and proud in this pose? One more breath. Lower down, Supta Baddha Konasana. Place the soles of your feet together. Knees come out wide. A hand on your belly, a hand on your heart. Start to pull your breath here down into your belly. So you feel that bottom hand fill with belly on your inhale and then empty out on the exhale. This kind of breathing stimulates moves our diaphragm, as all breathing does. But this particular type of breath, bringing it all the way down into the belly, helps to strengthen the diaphragm and also stimulates your vagus nerve, which is the nerve in your body that lets you go from fight and flight to rest and digest. And that's the feeling we want to cultivate right here. Dead bug. Take your feet to the ceiling or toward the ceiling. Grab for the outer edges of your feet, the backs of your thighs, or the front of your shins. And you'll start to pull your knees down toward your armpits. For most of us, they're not going to get there, but just the action. Rock side to side for happy baby, if that would feel good here. Yeah, and then get big with it. You can take it all the way from one thigh on the floor to the other side on the floor. Nice. Now let's experience a little bit of stability. Take your feet all the way to the ceiling. Lower your right leg halfway down toward the floor. Flex your feet. Press through your heels. On your next exhale, switch legs. And on the exhale, switch legs. You go at your pace with your breath. Different than your neighbor's breath, different than the pace I might call. Extend your legs and really press your feet into the air like you're scraping mud off the bottom of your feet. Legs straight up to the ceiling. Lower them down toward the floor 30 degrees. Pull your belly button to your spine. 30 degrees more down toward the floor. Now hover 2 inches above the floor. Lift your shoulders. Take a look at your toes. Send them all the way back up. Exhale, lower 30. 30 degrees more. Down toward the floor. Take a look at your toes. Little flutter kicks for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Send them up. Exhale, lower 30 degrees. 30 degrees more. Down toward the floor. Take a look at your toes. Pendulum swing side to side, low and slow. Send them back up. Hug your knees. Little circles one way and then the other. And we'll set up for abdominal twists. So stack your knees here right over top of your hips, bent at 90 degrees. Challenge your knees to come no closer to your face than this. We're going to take opposite elbow to opposite knee. Again, your pace. Keep the elbows super wide here. Thanks for coming, Becky. Yeah, and then it's your choice. If the knees stay where they are, you want to extend one leg and then the other. Pull the belly button down and in. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet up. Rock back and forth 3 times, all the way up to boat pose. And then create your boat, feet on the floor or lifted. Hands can be behind the thighs for support or lifted. Keep breathing. Full breath in. Exhale it out. 1 more like that. Fill up completely. Empty out completely. Hug your knees. Make your way to right side half pigeon. You can take this pose on your back or on your belly. So on your belly, it's going to look like bringing your right knee towards your right wrist with that ankle anywhere over toward the left. So it's going to be different for all of us if the ankle's tucked way in or it's way out toward the front of the mat. You choose what works for you and then start to lower down toward the floor. Keep your left ankle flexed here. That's going to keep any rotation out of your knee, or your right leg flexed. You know what I meant. You're all on the right side. Well, we'll get to both sides. So wherever you landed, you're good to go. Notice here if your hips feel like they're kind of falling to one side or the other. This could be a really great spot to take a block and place it right underneath of your right hip. So if you want to lift up just a little, I'll place the block there. Gives you a little bit of support. You've got 2 more breaths right here. Now switch to the other side. You can move through a down dog or just bring your leg all the way around and switch them. I like to take the down dog for the extra stretch down the hamstrings. And then same thing on this side. The foot that's in front of you, keep it flexed. And then if you're at that spot in your practice here where this is something you've been working on and you want to start bringing that foot forward toward the front of your mat, you can do that here by just placing the foot where you want it and keeping yourself lifted. That's going to allow your muscles to kind of get used to that new shape. And they take cues from you all the time. So the more you add oxygen, the more you breathe, the more your muscles know that it's okay to do the stretching and the opening here. 2 more breaths. Swing your leg all the way around. We're going to go for seated single leg extension. So right leg extends out in front of you. Left leg comes in like tree pose. Reach up to the sky on your inhale and then fold over on your exhale. So we want the center of the chest to be moving towards your toes. Nice. And then give yourself some length here. On an inhale, lift up a little bit. See if there's any length to be found. And then exhale, fold a bit further. You can take as big of a bend in this knee as you need to. Switch sides. Left leg extends. On the inhale, reach all the way up. On an exhale, fold all the way forward. Again, taking the big bend, little bend, whatever bend you need in your knee. And then if it's a big bend that's needed this morning, support it. Place something underneath, a block, a rolled up towel, maybe your fist. Release your toes, seated forward fold, both legs out front. Inhale, lift. Exhale to fold. And then notice here what's needed. For a lot of us with both legs forward, we need a bit of a bigger bend in the knee to make it happen. Nice, you can let your head drop here. Release your feet, tabletop or reverse plank. So place the soles of your feet on the floor. Knees can be bent or straight. Fingertips toward the heels, and we're just going to press the hips and the chest up toward the ceiling. Getting a big stretch across the whole front side of the body. If it feels good, you can let the head drop back. 1 more breath. Lower all the way down. Fish pose. Grab for your block. And we're going to place it between our shoulder blades lengthwise. The bottom of the block should be right about where like your bra strap would be, a little bit lower than your shoulder blades. And let yourself rest on back. Should feel here that your hips can be heavy on the ground. And then you've got options for your legs. You can take Supta Baddha legs, legs with knees up toward the ceiling, or out long, whichever one of those options feels good for your low back. And then if you feel here any warmth or tightness in the low back, what can be helpful is a little bit of a pelvic tilt. So lift your hips just an inch off the mat, send your tailbone down towards your heels, and then replace your hips to the floor. And it just gives you a little bit more length all the way down the backside of the body. Roll to your right side to release your props or your elbows. And this is the part of the practice where we get upside down. So if you've got a headstand or handstand practice, take that on at the top of your mat or take up some wall space. Waterfall, shoulder stand, any of those are great options. We just want to get the feet above the hips and maybe the hips above the heart. So waterfall looks like your back completely on the floor, legs in the air. If you want to take shoulder stand from there, yeah, that's where your hands are on the back of your hips to hold your back up. If you've got waterfall going on here, a block underneath the hips might feel nice. And those of us in the shoulder stand or waterfall here, stack your heels right above your hips. Our hips are big and bony and strong, so they can handle the weight of our legs a little bit easier than our upper back and neck can. Shoulder stands and waterfalls, you can move to plow. Plow is just bringing your toes down behind you toward the floor. If they touch, you can release your hands and take a bind behind your back. And then plow to deaf yogi. Hug your knees around your ears, give them a little squeeze. And take your arms long out on your mat. Use them as brakes to roll down one vertebra at a time, all the way to the floor. When you get there, hug your knees into center and then drop them off to the right side of your mat for a supine twist. Libby and friends at home, I'll invite you if you'd like to turn down your lights. If you've got something nice prepared for your Shavasana, go ahead and get that ready for yourself. Bring your knees back to center and take them over to your left. In studio, you've all got a cold eye towel. Feel free to reach for that when you're ready for it. And you can place it over your eyes, your forehead, your neck, your chest, whatever might feel restorative to you. Bring your knees back to center. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together, knees out wide. And start to create your final resting pose right here. So find a comfortable position for your head where the back of your neck can extend long. Hug your shoulders up underneath of you to get them flat on the floor. Shavasana, take your legs out long and wide and your arms out long and wide. Create a position here in which you feel completely supported. Allow your breath here to return to its natural pace. I'll share today's journey to the heart passage titled Honor the Ending. How was your trip? A friend asked as my trip drew to a close. I thought for a moment, and then the answer came easily. It had its ups and downs, I said. There were times that I felt exhausted, other times I felt exhilarated, and sure that I was on track. Other days I felt lost, confused. I'd fall into bed at night certain that this whole trip was a mistake and a waste. But I'd wake up in the morning, something would happen, and I'd see how I had been guided all along. The journey of a year is drawing to a close. Cherish the moments, all of them, even the ups and downs. Cherish the places you've visited, the people you've seen. Say goodbye to those whose journeys have called them someplace else. Know that you can always call them back by thinking loving thoughts. Know all those you love will be there for you when you need them the most. Honor the lessons you've learned and the people who helped you learn them. Honor the journey your soul mapped out for you. Trust all the places you've been. Make a scrapbook in your heart to help you remember. Look back for a moment. Reflect in peace. Then let this year draw to a close. All parts of the journey are sacred and holy. You've learned that by now. Take time to honor your ending, though it's never really the end. Go to sleep tonight, and when you wake up tomorrow, a new adventure will begin. Remember the words you were told when this last adventure began, the words whispered quietly to your heart. Let the journey unfold. Let it be magical. The way has been prepared. People will be expecting you. And yes, you are being led. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring some small movements back to your body, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Roll your wrists and your ankles. Make your way toward a full body stretch. So fingers in one direction, toes in the other. Hug your knees into center and rock to your right side for infant's pose. Allow yourself to sink heavy into your mat, completely supported by the ground beneath you. Send yourself gratitude for showing up and doing the work. Send the other yogis here in this room and at home all the gratitude for showing up and doing the work with you. Press your left hand into the floor to rise to a comfortable seat. Eyes closed or drishti settled right in front of your nose. On an inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll end as we began with one Om together. Big breath in. Thumb knuckles rise to forehead center. We bow and acknowledge each other. Namaste. Great work, yogis. Give yourselves a round of applause. You could have been anywhere on your New Year's Eve morning, but you chose to be here. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being here together. Thank the yogi today at some point who started your yoga journey, who brought you here, even if it was just today. And watch your eyes. I'm going to turn on the lights here real quick. If you wouldn't mind, place your blocks and any props that you borrowed on the floor up here. That way I know which ones need to be wiped down. And I'll see y'all out front. Thanks again, Libby. So good to see you this morning. Have a great day. Happy New Year.